GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. Action, Dabatola, Toki in the zone. Breaking down the latest, straight to your phone. From Web 2 shifts to Web the waves. News, deep dives, hot takes for days. Tech's evolving, the world's in spin. Markets move, let's lock it in. Genzio's here, no time to snooze. Tune in now, get the news. GM. Wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show.
GM, what is up today, my guy? How are you, Scott? This is a wonderful day here.
Yes, doing good, GM, everyone. I was juggling getting all the streams pushed out to these different places, just testing it out. So glad everyone is joining us, mainly probably on X, but we're live on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble. I don't know. I think there's some other places.
Is it Arena too?
Arena, that's right, Arena. So we are everywhere, so you can view however you want at your leisure. But GM, everyone. It's a interesting morning. We saw Bitcoin pump up to 106, then drop back down to 104, and now we're just sort of floating in between. Obviously, every movement of Bitcoin causes altcoins to further bleed, so we've seen a little red in some of those, but I don't think we're too surprised here with the way the market is as we're going into the summer. I mean, look, we're Bitcoin over 100,000 is amazing. Can we keep and stay above 100, maintain this and push through, say maybe to the fall or to the next leg up, or are we going to retrace a bit? I think that's what's in everyone's mind. And there's a couple things like we talked about yesterday that could influence that, which is, Fed and interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we've seen tariffs, so we don't know any day how things could go with that. They could be back on, back off. Numbers could be changing. So there's just
I've seen 3 different main routes for this month. Kind of crazy because they're all very. I'll say like one's low, one's mid tier, and one's like a higher reaching goal, I believe. So we'll start with the low one, is where people think there's going to be a retracement all the way down as low as 70. Now, if that actually happens during June, man, that's rough. That's a rough takeaway. 70 in
30,
June?
A solid 30% retracement this month. I think there would have to be something major in the news happen to get that much of a retracement. To get down to that.
So the talk was tariff news. A lot of like potentials as far as like stagnation of the market. And then also just retail just doesn't have the funds in order to support a basically the 100 number right now. The second one was that we're gonna bounce between 110 and 97, and that's how it's gonna be for the next month. I see that as more of a possibility out of the three so far. That's probably the one where
I think that's
even if
more
it does
likely.
touch down to 97, I don't like based on the current chart. I think it's just gonna boot right back up over 100 even
See,
before the end of the month. If
I can't
that
see
were to happen.
70. I agree. I think high 90s to, between that and our all-time high right now, that seems more realistic, more reasonable. Even with tariff news previously, it didn't shift Bitcoin 30%, 20%, not even 10%.
Now, the last one,
So
and this is the more high-reaching goal, is that by the end of June, we're going to see 150K Bitcoin, potentially 225K
in June,
by the end of June.
look, I'll say right now, like I don't see.
As I said, it's very high-reaching.
Yeah, I don't see 225 or 200 in June. Probably not the entire summer. Maybe not even this year. I would hope so. That would be nice. But I mean, you're talking about more than doubling the market cap of Bitcoin in such a quick amount of time. You'd have to have serious amount of money coming in. And while there is a lot, global economy, your everyday person is not putting money in right now, is not picking up and putting a lot in.
Retail isn't, but institutional pickup is there, and the
It is,
pressure
but
is
that's a lot
rising.
of money to go in and quit. Like 150, or would you say 155? That seems a lot more realistic for like a huge push. Like I see a push maybe to 125 and then another push to the 150s. But when you start talking 200,000, I mean, look, I would love that this month. But I think if we got to 200,000 or even 150 in such a quick time, there's going to be people manipulating and playing the market. They're going to be taking profits. And
Oh,
they're going to want to hit 150 and try to push it back down as close as to 100 as possible to buy back in. There's going to be a ton of this. I feel like ping ponging as we get to new all-time highs. So 155 for this one, man. It's June 5th in like 3.5, 4 weeks. I don't know. I'm just hoping for a new all-time high in that range. Like 115, 114. I'll be good.
No, I agree with you there. It would be nice just to get a new all-time high out of all of this. That being said, man, could you see it? Could you just believe that by the end of June, just a nice green candle all the way up to 200? Wouldn't you just love to see that? Tell me you wouldn't just sit back and enjoy that.
So if Bitcoin pumps up, okay, we know one thing. We know if Bitcoin retraces or goes down, because we have altcoin in the title, altcoins in the title. We know we're going to see altcoins probably pushed further down, some to even their new all-time lows. So let's just play devil's advocate here. And on the flip side of things, what if we had a quick candle up to 125 or Bitcoin, or even 150, and maybe it doesn't have to retrace, but it just pushes up to that. And now we have a couple days we're in that range. We're over 125, but we got up there quickly. Do you think a lot of alts are going to start pumping, or do you see it where a bunch of money went into Bitcoin and it's not really going into alts?
There is no money to go into alts. I mean, no, like genuinely, like so much of retail lost their money. Pumped Up Fun is literally putting out a coin where it's crazy. Like the amount of money that Pumped Up Fun has made, that like retail was sucked dry, and it wasn't just there, and it wasn't just with the coins that were made on that site or the tokens made on that site. Like it was meme coin season destroyed so much of retail because they played in the casino for way too long.
Everyone was bored. Everyone was bored, so everyone was just trying to like hit a lick and get rich, and it didn't work out for most of them. And now I actually think the faster Bitcoin moves up, the more that it's not going to pull alts up. That alts are just going to continue to just sort of float where they are, maybe go up a tiny bit. but I don't see real dollars going into them at the moment. You know, everyone who's holding has probably been picking up and been around for a bit through the bear. And anyone new, I feel, coming in is definitely getting more attracted to Bitcoin and maybe some of those other ones. Like a lot of retail loves XRP and different things. So, you know, let's see. Let's see what comments. So Puma, what's up, Puma? Says, guys, here are my professional prediction. Bitcoin will dump until it pumps, and the pump until it dumps, and the price will end the year higher or lower than today's price. This is financial advice. Yes, it will end the year either higher or lower than today's price. You know, the funny thing would be is if it ended the year exactly to the cent as the same price as when that was, and it was the one exception to it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see.
A very weird year.
So Blue is saying, poor Peter shit. Yeah, because everyone's selling gold or to get into Bitcoin, and I think we looked this up previously. Gold market cap was like 22 to 23 trillion.
Something like that.
So you could just see as Bitcoin starts gaining on gold. That's why when there's the price predictions of people saying 500,000 or $1 million, it is very, very. I mean, it's slated to happen.
22.75 trillion. That's the current market cap for gold.
Damn, that's. We just need Bitcoin just to jump up to half of that. That'd be nice. But I still am very worried about alts. You know, I think I came out of last cycle with, like a lot of people, figured, hey, you know what? Some of these alts are way down. They're going to get up towards all-time highs again. You know, we're going to see the cycle, you know, pretty much repeat itself. So a lot of people aped into things. People getting into pre-sales, figuring to catch the new wave, like that next wave, as this cycle heats up. And we just haven't had any attention that way to alts. Like last year, when we hit our initial the first of this cycle of a Bitcoin all-time high, I think that's where we saw a lot of altcoins doing well. Meme coins were all doing well. Like everyone was hyped up. But then meme coins just washed everyone's money away, came away from alts. Institutions are just solid into Bitcoin. And it's times like this where, you know, I think a lot of people are like, you know what, I should have just played the slow and steady race and been more of a Bitcoin maxi. You know, but
I mean, I feel that way some days.
I feel that way a lot of the time. I try to, like I said, keep at least half my portfolio in Bitcoin. Like I have sort of this rule percentage wise, but if just one or two of the alts pops off, you'll have a much, in theory, depending on the alt, a bigger gain X-wise, multiplier-wise, than you do on Bitcoin. Now, if Bitcoin hits 150, now you could say from this cycle at 15, it was at 15K, and you're getting a solid 10X there. You know, right now there's some alts, or a lot of these alts, they're probably begging to get a 10X out of this cycle. So Bitcoin has already performed and still is performing and still has more to perform. Now we hope it takes those alts up for that 5, 10, 15X. But yeah, I think the pump fund of last year kind of screwed up the cycle a bit. Everyone went degen. And then just now, more recently, to hear that they want to launch a token or that they're launching a token, I'm just like, my thought is like, you screwed up last year and now you're bored and there's not as much activity. So revive it with a token. And I think I saw a ton of memes because they're like, if you've launched tokens before and you've used their site, you're getting an airdrop, right? So then there was like a meme of all these foreign Jeters dancing around because they're going to get a huge airdrop because, you know, there was just these farms of concentrate, like a handful of people just putting out. Oh
my gosh, it's so
I've
true.
seen it before.
That's rough.
You check a wallet and it was like a token launched every hour. And like, I'm back already 3 days back. And I'm like, they're still going. It's almost like on a schedule. So and some hit bonding, some didn't. But
it like makes your skin crawl because you think about like how
rewarded.
much of that token is just going to go to people that just are blatantly trying to extract from the system.
Like, is anybody going to just buy it to trade it? Or is it just, like everyone's going to get airdrops and then dump it? Like I don't know. I need to figure out and hear a little bit more, but I almost feel like they're just going to airdrop a bunch, like 99% of the airdrops going to people who cheated or rugged. And then they're just going to take those tokens and all dump on each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of people.
GM strategy.
GM. Yeah, so.
And then Dodger here. Okay.
I look at it now. BTC may doubles from here. And with alts, they can 5 to 10x maybe. I do see alt season based off of this. So Blue staying positive with that there'll be an alt season. I mean, I do think there'll be some sort of altcoin season eventually.
When?
But will it be big enough to call it a season? Will it just be that everything kind of went up?
It feels more like it's going to be altcoin open season. Like, bro, like take your pick. Which one's going to make it to the end of the year?
I mean, they could just slow and steady some of them gain and just not really get that. Maybe get a few X's out of it, but on a slow and not actually have that fiery cycle pop off.
Realistically, like how many of these altcoins are already at like the 3 to 4 year mark of their cycle and they don't have a real plan and they've never been able to execute anything further. And so they're just gonna die off.
How many of them don't have cash flow? There's no revenue. Like, what if it's like most of them? It was based off of speculation, and that I feel will work in a short time frame. You get people hyped up. People are investing. We're going to do this, that, whatever. This is going to be some sort of business, and teams getting paid by all that money coming in, the percentages going to them or whatever. But then after a year or two, there's nothing that's out there that's generating dollars, that's generating any sort of crypto dollars, whatever. It's just not taking in anything. And it's just paying bills, whether you're, just paying your staff, community managers, everyone, and there's no one paying you. So this is like the only industry where so many projects have gotten away with that for such a long time. If I was to go open a business down the street here and nobody ever walked in the door and I had employees, and eventually that investor money to pay everyone, to keep the business going, because usually you want to have enough to like float you 6 months or a year or more, right? You're just going to burn through that. And then eventually they're taking your stuff from you. But here, projects stay in business for years and years and years, and somehow just entice more people to buy in and never have to deliver. So I see a big switch or a big shift going on now in this cycle, that if you're actually have revenue, you're beyond speculation now and your project. And that's where that's going to determine what you're worth and what your potential worth could be to future investors based on that trajectory of how you're doing it. If you don't have anything, then that trajectory is actually going towards going out of business, right?
Yeah, no, like it really is.
Just because you have a token and you have a chain doesn't mean you're just going to stay around forever, right?
Some people think they are. Some people weren't prepared for the journey that it takes to get through a life in crypto, though. So you almost have to kind of expect that there's going to be this fallout.
It's going to be a fallout. Also,
well, how many? Okay, think about it in the sense of, I'll frame it this way. When you look on like CoinMarketCap and you see how many tokens have been created, and then you start scrolling back like how many years ago that they were created, and now you genuinely will start to see like more and more projects just hitting their end of term. Like their life is over. They never were able to get revenue on the table. Like,
Yeah.
I totally feel like because we've been
not
in
every
this cycle,
project's going
because
to
we,
survive, just like not every business should survive, right? I
yeah,
mean, not
but
everyone's going to win here.
but we're gonna see more projects this time around start closing out because so many more
Oh,
were opened up. And I feel like people
completely.
aren't really recognizing that feature yet, and or that maybe that sense of since like 2020,
Even if you
like
discard all the meme tokens, let's just talk
yeah,
about just people legitimately try that had projects, you know.
yeah,
You're right. There's so many more that came about from last cycle to now, like over the bear, that look, I mean, I'm sure Blue's watching. He could contest to this, that there's projects that me and him even, we got in pre-sale, and a year or two ago, just in the bear, that they didn't even make it to where to Bitcoin over 60K or something, or to the all-time high last year. Like, it didn't even make it more than 12 months of it. Like, hey, here's a good
hmm
idea. People start doing it, and they ran out of money. They just, that's my assumption. They ran out of money, can't continue it, or it's on like the back burner, but nobody's investing back in. They didn't get to a cycle point where they could launch and attract people in or prove a service. Now, it might have sounded great in that theory and that idea, but just didn't have the staying power,
hmm
maybe the business sense, maybe maybe they're also going against tens of thousands of other people that are launching just in not even the same idea. It could be completely different ideas, but under the same
yeah,
umbrella of our space. So there's only so much money to go around, right? We're like in this bubble here of crypto and Bitcoin, and there's only so much money that's going around right now and getting invested. So when you have tens of thousands, just tens of thousands of projects opening, yeah, you're only going to have a handful that really survive.
were
What
you
is
in the
this?
ICO?
I heard Scott was in the ETH ICO. No. But
Well, were
there
you?
was talks of not well an IPO. What was who was going to launch? It was Circle. Circle actually has an IPO coming up, which is pretty crazy. They're going to be, I think, the second crypto related project. Really,
Isn't like
Coinbase.
BlackRock or Grayscale already buying 10% of them?
I'm not sure, but I know that they said the prediction for this IPO is about a $31 stock price, but they suspect it'll open in the low 40s. And well, actually, the IPO is going to be about 30s, but they expect it to open in the low 40s. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I
BlackRock,
yeah,
10%
BlackRock.
of Circle's IPO shares.
So look at, even though since I mentioned Blue, he's going to call out the projects. XEL was the one token, and Dandelion. Now Dandelion might still have some sort of a chance. They had it, apps, wallet, like tons of stuff, but we'll see. And this is the thing, in the bear market, you try to throw a few dollars out at some of these ideas that seem really good, and you hope it hits. You hope that, look, I'll bring up one that a lot of people don't necessarily love, and we don't know how well it'll continue to do. But during the bear market, it straight performed, and that was Caspa, right? If you would have just thrown a couple $100 at it in like July of, what was it, 22, maybe 23, I don't know, couple years ago, you could have got out at like 20 cents or more. I mean, I think it's a bit lower now, but that is just a huge return. Now everyone's hoping to get into something like that, that's being developed when the market's kind of down, and then when tons of money comes in. But yeah, you can't hit them all. So that's why I've always been DCAing and steady with Bitcoin. At least I know that from the first time I bought it to now has been going up. So
There's also something to be said about the mining community in that aspect. Like, if you're mining, you usually do have an advantage. You're ahead of the curve for a lot of these projects, and so you can kind of make a profit. Not always, but sometimes it really does pay off.
yeah, sometimes you mine a project and then it goes nowhere.
There is that too.
And you're
There
like,
is that.
ooh, I should have done this. Should have put the GPUs elsewhere. Um, it's all right.
Yeah.
This is where we need action, so he can tell you his mining fumbles along the way. But I think now he's more on hosting it elsewhere, because California electric prices are absurd.
Rough. Yeah. Yeah.
See, I got to keep pulling Blue up here because, we're kind of on the same page. It's like, future money, it's only going into Bitcoin. I might put a little bit into a few things here and there if something sounds good or has some legs, SWE and a few others I'll probably put in. But realistically, long run, if you want like a no stress situation, it's DCA into Bitcoin. It's like, I feel it's the equivalent of when I was young and people were like, let's put money in a savings account so you could have money to go to college in 20 years. I feel Bitcoin's just like, you just keep putting a little bit in and DCAing in, and 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you're just going to have an absurd amount of, it's going to be worth a lot. You might not have an absurd amount of Bitcoin. You'll have a lot of money though.
Would you DCA into ETH at all? Or Solana?
I'm not DCAing into either of them. I do pick up on occasion, but I haven't picked up Ethereum in a bit. I don't know. I'm a little bit. I do think that they'll perform well. I think they're going to be around for a very long time. But with all the stress and the keep your finger on the pulse stuff, I don't know. I think I'm leaning more towards a little bit. Majority more is going to Bitcoin.
Okay.
Maybe not when we're at 150 or 2. I'll look for retracements, but
I guess actually when I want to see about some of this stuff,
is.
I'm thinking more along the lines of like RWA projects, where are they being built? Because I know there's Hedera, there's Ethereum, there's Solana. Okay. I guess I think I've seen a few on Cardano actually as well.
There's RWAs on all chains. So what you're looking at is if you have, let's say, instead of the Trump token on Solana that just went nuts and brought all that money in and drove Solana to 300, you're looking to see which of these chains have those RWA projects coming on board that's bringing in that much sort of like assets, or because something along, if you have a couple big RWAs that come on board and they're bringing tens of millions or hundreds of millions worth of assets on the blockchain, then that's bringing that volume like through whatever chain it's on, whether it's on Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, so on and so forth. And then the token, the underlying token reflects, by going up. Yeah, I mean, as everything gets tokenized, I see Solana and SWE being two big ones. I think Ethereum as well. Avalanche is a tricky one because I know projects that are doing RWA on there, but I just keep getting slapped in the face with gaming. I'm just going to be honest. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like I'm just like, if I talk about Avalanche, like somebody's going to come up and just start screaming gaming about games in my face, right? And if there's an aspect to tie in, more assets that way, then an RWA on AVAX, then I think they'll do well too. But what about gaming just overshadows things for me on that for Avalanche.
Chainlink and VeChain?
VeChain, like I really want to dive in more. I know a lot of people close to me they're doing great things like environmental wise and have a lot of what is that? What's the word? Anyways, they're doing a lot of stuff good for the environment, and they have huge sponsorships, was it UFC and different things. So I really think that they're bound to do well. They already have lots of big stuff there, and I'd like to see more RWA on there. And to be honest, I really should add to my bag before it's too late. Chainlink, as far as Chainlink, I actually hold a lot of Chainlink. Couldn't tell you. Let me see the price. I'll tell you if I'm up or down right now. Where's Link on here? I might have to consult my portfolio. I think I'm a little bit up. I'm a little bit up, not much, but I actually like Chainlink. They're not the sexiest of of projects out there, because they're doing more stuff, I feel like, on the back end than in your face saying, hey, look at us, look what we're doing, and like, you know,
Totally
having
fair.
that big draw. But they're involved in working with pretty much just everyone out there, you know, connecting dots, Oracle. So I do like both of those. Like, both are in my portfolio, just to be straightforward. I don't really even talk about, you know, most of the stuff that I call that's in my traditional portfolio, like non-memes and non-shitters.
I love you call it your traditional portfolio, which is a funny way to put it. And yet at the same time, I understood exactly what you meant.
Yeah, because I think if you're a DGen and you're in there, like, you need to make a clear separation where you're talking about like this,
Yes.
because
Yes.
you have some money in this DGen portfolio. It's just like your shitter wallets, right? And you're just hoping to hit a lick. And if you hit a big enough lick, you're going to take that cash and you're going to put it into something else, which goes into the traditional portfolio, which you're a little bit more reserved on. At least for me, I'm not trading things that are in there like on the daily or the weekly or even the monthly. I'm looking to add to positions at the right time and scale out of different tokens when they're doing well. So I keep them very, very separated. And
yeah, if it works, it works.
And look at this. I see Bitcoin out of the corner of my eye going down. Well, hold on. Back here behind me, touching down to 104, which is what we had a little bit earlier here. Let's hold on. Do this in the back there. Yeah, it's almost touching down. We broke.
Just want to move your head a little bit to the side, and we'll just. Yep. All right, thanks.
If it hits my ear, that's not good. Buy signal if it gets to the headset.
NFA.
So okay, near should be good as well for AI stuffs. I don't follow near much, but that is definitely an accurate statement. And last year, I want to say there was a conference that Near had over in Europe, and from the pictures and the video that I saw, maybe it was 18 months ago. It was at least a year. It was packed. And you're talking about, this is before this last year of Bitcoin kind of going up and everyone's saying we're in a bull. So token price, though, what's near? Because they're on my list because I hold.
I can't remember what
240
talking about.
Weren't they in the fours for a while, steady holding? I need to go back and revisit that. That might be something good to sprinkle a little bit in there. At this point, you know, I'm not huge to going into alts, but if they're that low, and Near's
all-time high is like in the 5s or something like that, or higher.
Yeah, then I haven't heard, you know, anything negative, but I just don't follow it. But
there's a lot of cool things going on.
Their conference was just packed. Like I said, when I saw photos of it, I should look up to see what they have coming up. And no, I like these suggestions in here, like what people are saying about, like, what we need to do on some of these streams in the morning is take maybe 10 or 15 minutes and pull up some of the charts of some of these bigger, you know, alts or some of these other tokens, and actually, you know, take a look and dig in a bit more. That's the problem when you have tens of thousands of tokens. Even following the top 10 is hard.
Near Protocol, their all-time high is $20.42.
Really?
So
if it hits all-time high, I actually think Near will. Now, does it do it during a traditional altcoin season?
That's or does 10x from where we are right now.
I think they'll get to all-time high again for sure. I just don't know if it's going to come in a quote-unquote like traditional altcoin season where things just rip and it just, like, you know, 2, 5, 7, 12, you know, 20. Oh my God. And things. I think it's going to be a lot more slower paced, kind of gradual back up to all-time highs for some of these bigger projects. Man, look at, there's so many people bringing up so many good ones here.
Mm-hmm.
talking about RWA and you're not talking about Ondo. I know. I feel so. I think the reason why I haven't talked about Ondo at all is just because
I've lost so much on it.
No, I wish I had a bigger bag right now. I'm actually bullish on Ondo.
I'm bullish on Ondo. I just wish that I also hadn't lost so much on it because I bought it when it was higher up.
Oh, well, you can DCA down now, right?
Oh, no, I still am. I'm just, I'm still frustrated by the amount that I lost because like the amount that I put back into it is almost the amount that I've lost, and I'm just like, still.
We got to
still
we got to
frustrated.
get J Chains on one of the mornings again because I know J Chains has he's huge into Ondo. He's charted it a bunch. He's really dug in, and we should get his opinion on it. But yeah, I mean, Golar, you're right. Like, how do we say RWA and don't mention Ondo? Yeah, it's true. That's in my feed a lot. I think when I don't have as big of bag as I wanted or the entry point that I would have liked, I think I sort of just push it off to the side a bit and kind of ignore it. And when it gets to like the right pricing, then I start getting happy and maybe I'll mention it again. They're like, you hold that?
Yeah. Just
not a lot, but enough. Man, this Bitcoin is right at 104 and
it's about to touch that ear, man. It's about to touch that ear.
I mean, how do you feel about this? We're Thursday, beginning of June, 106 to 104. Do you think this is going to hold? Like we're going to hold over 100 for this month, or do you think we'll see those 90s? I know we talked about a 97 to 1.
I do think we're going to see a high 90s. I don't think that we're going to last there very long, but I do I feel like we're going to see high 90s again. It's
just because I look at the chart, it's like it doesn't have to go down much, like on my chart, like on the screen, to crack under 100. So let's pose this because we talked about alts. Let's just say we get to that 97. How much more could alts bleed out? Do we see people hang up like they're just done? Like,
is this like a shakeout of the alts? Is that what you're kind of asking?
Yeah, like.
That's rough. It's plausible. I don't know how long. I don't know how.
Blue asks, was it a true sale? Like, seller may walk away. Like, when can we confirm? I don't know. I mean, when you look back and we hit 112 and we're down to 104 right now, a week apart, I guess you can make the argument. Probably need to get further into the month. Like if we don't break all-time high and we just go back under 100, and we enter July, then people aren't coming back probably until the end of the summer. Hindsight gets you every time because everyone right now is seeing the red candles like, I could have sold at like 110.
Yeah.
Bought back now. And whenever I play with fire, I tend to get burned. So I don't try to time or play the market. That's why I DCA. But I have a few people that are looking to get into crypto, looking to pick up Bitcoin. And if I'm just going to do that, I'd probably wait a little bit. I mean, we're seeing this right now. And I wonder if there's something going on in the news that's causing specifically this candle. When you start moving, near 1,000 points, it's not just like you got to have decent sale. You got to have decent pressure to move this and sinking down even more. So I don't know.
It's not looking good.
I'm trying to pull up the chart.
It looks like it could pull under 104.
Oh, I didn't even share my screen in the background. Yeah, no, I mean, we're 103.8. We'll see. Right now, I guess when I go back, the furthest I go back is so almost the end of the month on the 30th, we dipped down to 103.1. So we're about 700 points off of that. Well, so we'll see if we touch to that sort of low that was right at the very end of May.
Yeah, we'll see. It's just
that was the lowest point in the last 2 days of the month there, coming off of 110 or 112. Try to see if I could adjust the chart behind me a bit. Yeah, 110.8, May 27th, and then by the 30th, down to that 103.1, and now we're kind of pushing. We're at that high 103, so
it's just not feeling like a good chart.
You know what I've ignored today to see if the other platform, we're streaming on so many different places. It's kind of it's hard. Like not all the chat filters through StreamYard the way it should.
Oh, I've only seen X chat. So I know you pulled up a YouTube comment earlier.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm going to see something. No, I mean, interesting. Yeah, I'm going to try to see in here and just say, hey, and see what happens if it actually pushes it through. And it does. I guess it does work, but in the background, there's like 5 little windows and tabs to like see if this stuff is pushing out correctly. And yeah, StreamYard definitely.
Isn't always the best at times to let you know what's going on.
Yeah, the chat thing is the hardest part because you have so many people trying to chat or talk from their preferred, app that they use, whether it's see, like I'm split on streams depending. Like the thing with X is it's much easier to just go and jump in one, but I tend to click somewhere else on the screen and then next thing you know,
it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone and it resets. So I have to have it in like a tab and move it. Whereas when I watch on pretty much any other platform, if I'm watching, I can just watch and then I go back to what I'm doing and it's just playing in the background. So what's the name for Rumble? It's Dabatola.
Yeah, we're doing almost everything lately under Dabatola's channel. Then we can get him some good follows. Make sure you're actually paying attention to everything that we're doing. Who knows what could come out, and who knows the clips that are coming forward. There's been some pretty funny things actually. I don't know if you've ever seen all the stuff that Action is tagging us both in, as far as the clips that come out. But it's
you mean the YouTube shorts?
Oh yeah.
I need to jack some of those shorts and put them onto my channel because he's not even here and he's like clipping the stream.
It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny, that essence.
Action, I'm going to your plug who does the clips, and I'm going to make sure that the person is logged into my account as well.
You can just get access to the folder where all the videos are, and then just
I'm just going to just get access to Action's account and just steal all the videos that I'm in and just post them on my channel. You hear that, Action? You probably don't because you're supposed to be here, and instead you double booked yourself.
He's pretty good at that. He's pretty good.
No, it's better to be busy than not busy in this space, right? When you're not busy, if you even have $20 in your wallet to burn, you tend to start burning. Like you start gambling, and the thing is, it's not even just gambling on shitters. Like there's tons of casinos. There's tons of casinos.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah. I was looking at an actual poker website that's also connected to Web3. And I was like, man,
that's the thing. Poker, all the casino games.
Yeah.
it's not just doing it on meme coins. People are actually, there's casinos that you just put your crypto in. So when you're bored and you're not busy, tend to end up spending your last dollars in the casino. I feel if you're busy and active, you tend to hustle up some more money and you stay busy. You don't get to spend it. And then when you finally do get to spend it, it actually added up to be something. It's odd how that works, right? You try to hustle real hard so you can make a few dollars to pay stuff. And then you get so busy and wrapped up in it that, you're making money, but you don't actually, spend it how you thought you would ahead of time.
Don't I know it? spending money on my truck.
Oh man,
I have to get a new phone. Like,
you didn't get a new phone yet?
no, I really needed to, but I forgot to go last night. So gonna go do that today.
Forgot to get a phone. I don't even understand how that's possible. It just becomes so like technology is so embedded in everything that I do that.
I mean, I literally have a massive computer right here that I have at my disposal. Most of the stuff that I need to handle is right here.
Fair enough.
Occasionally, I realize that people also text and call me, so that's where there's like the huge pitfalls. But there is Discord and Telegram where you can also make plenty of calls, and I can
Majority
also
of my
take them
messages,
right here.
majority of my messages come through Telegram, I think, and then text message. And I love the fact that most people will text instead of calling. And I've also conditioned a lot of the callers, like the repeat offenders who just call a lot of times.
It's like text first.
There's not much substance in the call, or like what they're asking. I hate saying this, but what they're asking in the call could have just been, they're looking not for a conversation, they're looking for an answer to a question. It could have just been done on text. So I know the repeat offenders, and I've conditioned them, a lot of them now, by just not answering the phone. And then texting afterwards. I'm being honest. And then texting afterwards, like, yo, what's up? You know? And then it's like, all right, we could talk through here. So it makes it efficient. You know, you're juggling a lot of things. And then sometimes with the laptop and iMessage and just on this side, you got the phone propped up in front of me on a stand in front of, multiple screens. You just gotta, can't be wrapped up on the phone. I pace when I'm on the phone.
Oh, I know.
So if I start, you get me on the phone, next thing you know, I'm just walking outside in the yard and I'm like not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. At conferences, I get on the phone, I start walking. Security must hate me. There's times where I'm by like an entrance and I must have done like a half a mile back and forth. I look crazy as hell too.
Bro, you probably did a half mile just in our apartment in Dubai.
Oh yeah. On a space talking, I'm just like walking around the place. I'll go outside for a minute, go start. That's the other thing with the kitchen. I'm just like constantly hitting the kitchen. So I'm eating stuff. Oh, look who's in here.
Who we got?
We got Heck, who's joining us.
Yo,
I like
Heck,
his
snack.
I like that photo.
That's
and
a good
yeah,
photo.
we are dumping a little bit.
Oh wait,
I'm hoping that I just like go to the bathroom and come back and it's a green
new
candle.
Icon. Dodger blue.
There you go. He's in Rumble.
Oh, that's cool.
So speaking of Rumble, we for those that didn't know or didn't see the news, we saw this at Bitcoin. Rumble is putting out a wallet, right? So Rumble's going to have their own wallet. I believe, Blue, you could verify. I think you probably saw that setup. They had a huge setup. There's a few people that were streaming from their influencers that we know that did some stuff. And I heard another rumor about a token, but I don't know. Like that could just be randoms that are just BSing. But if there's a wallet, that doesn't seem like such a far-fetched step from there. So I don't know. But Rumble is making moves. They had a nice presence set up. And yeah.
How are they connected to Bitcoin?
Good. Well, okay, so
Bitcoin are they going to have Bitcoin on their wallet?
Probably, but I think Bitcoin is the conference has become less maxi. You know what I mean?
No, do tell.
You see,
I wasn't there, so I really.
You see, like, so you see, like, for example, like Kwai was there, right?
Yeah, I thought that was different.
So there's mining projects. There's a little bit more. There's a little flexibility. It's not like you have to be Bitcoin or you can't show up. I still think there's guidelines, and I'm sure there's something that happened for them in particular, but it's just not the full-blown maxi mentality.
So you're saying in the essence of like wallets and mining projects or proof of work projects?
I'm going to see if I can
pick both options.
Hold on a second. I'm going to try to see if I can pull it up. Is this it? And if so, will I be able to share it? I think so. I just got to go to the other browser because I got so many browsers in Windows. This is a video though. I'm gonna, even though it's right at the very end, I'll air at the screen. Well, pretty much it just says that it's Rumble plus Bitcoin will be epic, and it's just a video or a little. It's 45 seconds. Should I just do it because it's not be lazy here?
I don't know what you just said, but yeah, don't be lazy.
Yeah, sure.
Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. That's what I heard.
Here we go.
Boom, pow, Rumble.
So I don't know if there's going to be audio that actually comes through, but Rumble and Bitcoin will be epic. And this is, I guess someone had put out some sort of teaser about this. So, but we're streaming on Rumble. It's good to find that some people have went over there. And yeah, no, they're, media companies streaming and stuff. I don't see why there's such an issue, especially if you're going to end up with like a wallet and other stuff. So, yeah.
Can't wait for one of the other platforms to be like, you just went against our terms of our platform by talking about another platform. We're like, yo, we've been talking about all of them.
We're on. Yeah, I was gonna say we're on all platforms. We're talking about them all equally, right? Let's see. What's it say?
Oh heck! Thoughts on the Bitcoin X Cardano integration?
Bitcoin and Cardano integration. To be honest, I don't have much thoughts on it right now. I mean, look. I think that I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm a Bitcoin, like, what's the right word, purist, but I just hold Bitcoin and I'm not too involved in other aspects of layers and things involved. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I get it.
I got like a very, I'm not saying necessarily it's bad, but I'm just more of store of value. And that's it. I'm not looking at anything else with my Bitcoin. Now, maybe that's naive of me, and I should, but I'm just trying to get as much Bitcoin as possible.
No, right? I feel you, man. I feel you.
So, what is this? I was trying to find more news about, like, I'm trying to find the actual Rumble stuff, but it's saying more. Rumble CEO confirms Tether collab crypto wallet to launch in Q3. So that's pretty much what they're advertising. So they're going to have, the wallet. We'll see how that does. I think there's a lot of people who support on Rumble. The platform is really growing. See the presence at the conference, and then to see the move. I mean, look, it's a step in the right direction that we like, right? For crypto. Yeah. Wallet support. We don't see
Dodger
any of the
down here saying don't touch it.
What? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke.
Oh my goodness.
Look, there's some truth in what he says there. Bitcoin is pretty much the OG, decentralized, strongest, most powerful network out there, and
we literally just watched what they can do to Cardano and have done to Cardano in the past.
I mean, look what happened with Cetus protocol and Sway. Then there was a talk about, do we stop this? Do we roll stuff back? When you can have lots of discussions about doing these different things, like, no, you're not a Bitcoin network. You know what I mean? You're not the same. So You could either, I mean, but I'm not opposed to saying that everything has to be decentralized. There's stuff that needs some involvements of it. I like the way, what is that? Is that what's going on with Sui? Where is it Walrus protocol or Walrus, and there's something else which are essentially helping decentralize a bunch of data and information. I forget exactly. I vaguely remember hearing that, but that's actually a big deal. So you don't have to have the whole thing, but if certain data is stored like that, decentralized, then and I forgot exactly which one it was.
Programmable storage
for Walrus.
That's what Walrus is bringing.
Yeah, it's decentralized storage platform. Now I forgot who they recently partnered up with, but in storing their data. But it was a pretty significant move, and I think that's the way to go. I think when you have elements like that, not everything needs to be fully decentralized. Oh man, look at this. We're getting close to the top of the hour. What kind of who else is in here? We miss any comments, questions? Maybe not.
Huge anti-Elon following use Rumble. Interesting to know. Dodger.
That it's
as
which
you
audience?
See that from X.
That's the. Hold on. You're saying, let me see. Anti who?
Elon?
Yeah. That's a interesting situation right now. I mean, you can't make up some of the stuff that goes on. Like with the government and people.
You know what I love?
Him on drugs in the White House.
Love the amount of people that are talking about how Elon was fired or that he quit. Or like all these different statements when he literally at the beginning of Doge told everyone the date that he was leaving. He's like, and I'm not doing this forever. I got other stuff I need to do. Like,
well, that was the one thing I thought is
this is
you have all these you run all these businesses. Like, don't you have to go back and do some stuff?
And he's like, yeah, no, I do.
On top of it, he's got all these businesses. He's messing around with the government. He still finds time to party. You see that? He might not have the time to party. Well, it's because he just does it while he works. He's like, we're going to the White House today. Take 2 of these. Take some of this. Start talking to the ceiling. Let's go. Hey, look. I don't know if people remember when he was on Rogan or whatever, I think it was, and he smoked weed, right? And everyone freaked out. Like people stock might even went down a little bit. Like just knowing in all these articles about him partying, while I don't think you should be on hard drugs in the Oval Office advising the president, I don't think that him partying and doing those substances or whatever, whether on the road or not, that doesn't make me think worse of him. Like I'm actually surprised in a good way that somebody who does all those crazy things or whatever still likes to eat mushrooms like a normal human, or like a lot of people. It's interesting because you don't.
Yeah, they're not allergic. That helps.
It's not like you don't hear, at least I haven't, the heads of Google and all these other people getting messed. You have this certain mold of what they are and the general public does. But in reality, everybody has those skeletons in the closets, their vices, their different things.
I feel like I've heard about a few too many politicians that have
well,
done
politicians' vices are probably a lot worse. Like, look, the partying on smoking and maybe doing some hallucinogens and things like that. Like, okay, cool. Our tech guys should do that. Be more creative. Have fun. I know you're a real human. All those other bad vices that you're not allowed to say on probably almost every platform we're streaming to. Yeah, no bueno. Not good. Shouldn't have any place anywhere. But it's nice to see in a weird way some of the people that we look at as some of the smartest people pushing, the boundaries of things, that they hallucinate once in a while. You never know. Maybe that's why we do have stuff on Mars. Sleep. So, the lack of sleep could come from the partying too. You don't know. But as long as
Oh,
everyone's investing in crypto,
don't turn around. Don't look at your screen.
Turn around. Oh wait, can I do that? Or action's not here. Action's supposed to be
I mean,
synced.
you can do that.
Yeah. So we'll stay live for one more second here as we push this 103.2, and we got a new candle. I'm just curious if we will go down past 102.8 before we officially rug the stream here. It's floating there. It looks like a red day.
Yeah,
we're going to see alts get dragged down.
Not looking good.
Lunchtime. Red candles.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
I got another meeting, man.
That's you. I stacked up my morning and now I can enjoy my lunch. No, look at it. It looks like, honestly, it looks like we are right there floating on. Yep. So this is pretty much the low of the last week. We're touching back down on. That was the end of May.
But this is Thursday.
To answer Blue's question earlier, is this when do we know if it's sell and may walk away was a good idea? I guess if you're below this price right now, probably is a good idea if you sold at any of those highs in May, right? Because this pretty much was let's see what we are. Let's look back. Yeah, we had the jump up from 100 in the first week of May 8th. So yeah, if you sell pretty much, in my opinion, anything like under this right now, like, or bought back in under this and sold up here, then yeah, that statement to the sell and may walk away kind of thing will work. I don't know. At this point, it's all market manipulation. No, think about this. Look,
no, it's the way that you're just like, you get through this whole entire good portion.
Look at the candle and you just see it bounce. It's like, I don't know. It's just aggravating because even when you see this, there's on the smaller time frames, there's just manipulation going on. In the larger time frame, we trend up. I really believe that. It's just how much, like how low do we see those low days on that smaller time frame, and that could even be when you're living within the day. Like, I mean, look at how wild we were already from 103 to 106 just in hours today. So anyways, it's been fun. We're at the top of the hour. Is Toki going to rug me?
Am I going to rug you?
You can rug me if you want.
What do you mean?
Well, we'll be back tomorrow. Maybe Action will be here for once. Yeah, because he likes to show up when he likes to show up. But please leave a comment, like, share the stream. If you want us to pull up anything, we'll pull up some stuff on the charts. We could review some of the way the market's gone this week tomorrow if you'd like. So let us know. I mean, we already saw near VeChain, Chainlink. There's a few that were mentioned that we could look into. I really do want to talk and look into VeChain a bit more, and maybe we'll reach out to our buddy J Chains and get his insights on VeChain and on Ondo.
I wonder if he has anything on Chainlink too. Just get all the chains together at once,
We'll have to ask him. So any last words? No.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Gen Z is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a house.
You do not understand.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're back at the Gen Z Media House.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today.